Keir Starmer, he is our Prime Minister, of course, who's looking forward. As we record this, we should say that he still has yet to have a conversation.
Well, can I just jump in and say, did you see the 47th President said last night, I don't know about trips yet. It's always been the UK first, and then he moved on. Right. I am telling you, on anything that I've got, Starmer is at the back of the queue for Donald Trump. Back of the queue.
That's all surprised. And here's why.
Of course, I wouldn't want Donald Trump round for dinner, but don't underestimate the danger to the world if Trump is re-elected this time around. I'm anti-Trump. I would like to send my warmest congratulations to President Trump on his inauguration as the 47th President of the United States.
Awesome.
The 47th President of the United States. Even he manages to make Trump sound boring, the 47th President.
And I just very quickly, I know it's nothing to do with my nomination, but there's Trump talking about two genders. America's going to be great again. America's going to control the world. We're going to look after our people. The rhetoric was so strong. The delivery was fantastic. It was calm and controlled. And he goes, please release the sausages.
Maybe the most satisfying deportation of all. Do you remember this guy?
Mi gente, he pensado invadir una casa en United States. Ya que me enteré que existe una ley que dice que si una casa no está habitada, podemos expropiarla. Capichi?
Lionel Moreno, the Venezuelan influencer on TikTok, famous for teaching other fake asylum seekers in this country that we have squatters' rights in the U.S. and you can just take over a house and there's nothing that they can do about it. That ugly mug right there was all over the internet helping illegals exploit American housing. And then it all kind of changed when Trump was elected, right? And Lionel's messaging sounded a lot different as well.
Estoy en peligro de muerte en United States. Necesito protección en Estados Unidos.
Necesito protección. The New York Post reporting today, Lionel has been deported and evidently created such a scene on the deportation flight, he had to be separated from other deportees. You got to enjoy that.
The most insane trade war has officially begun because Canada, Mexico, and China are pissed and have now all announced their own plans on how to retaliate against Trump's tariffs. So what the hell is going on? Well, you see, yesterday Trump's promised 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico and 10% on China officially kicked in. What that means is that any goods sent from these countries to the United States will now cost companies 25% more, or 10% in China's case. So for example, if a Canadian business sent a car to the US that cost $50,000, today US companies will pay a $12,500 tariff at the border. So the price of your once $50,000 car is now actually $62,500. Why would Trump purposefully make things more expensive for Americans? Well, two main reasons. The first is more of a longer-term, unguaranteed benefit, but it would be to change consumer habits to buy more American-made products and incentivize more international companies to manufacture in the US. In theory, that means a stronger US economy, more stable jobs, and less dependence on foreign countries. The second reason for imposing these tariffs would be to use them as a tool to pressure Canada, Mexico, and China into doing what Trump wants. Some of these things that he's publicly mentioned include renegotiating trade deals, stopping illegal immigration, and the flow of fentanyl. There's also the far-fetched idea of Canada becoming a state of America. But here's where things get interesting, because instead of just doing what Trump wants, Canada has clapped back with a 25% tariff of their own, and Mexico said they're doing the same but haven't announced the percentage yet. China reacted a little differently by preparing to file a lawsuit with the World Trade Organization. So why is Trump not backing down? Just listen to this. In 2023, Canada sent 76% of all of their exports to the United States. That accounts for roughly 19% of their entire GDP. In 2024, Mexico sent 78% of all of their exports to the United States. That makes up 37% of their entire GDP. But for America, their exports to both countries combined only make up roughly 2.7% of their entire GDP. So simply put, even if they do retaliate, getting into a tariff war with...
London is now 37% white. Birmingham is 43% white. Manchester is 49% white. The three biggest cities in England and Wales are now white minority cities. Again, that is a massive, massive, rapid change.
This should terrify every single Australian. Victoria's new hate speech laws exclude white people. So if you're white, racial abuse, discrimination is basically state mandated under the law. You are not protected, you're not safeguarded, you get nothing. To sum up the law, the reason it is so vicious and disgusting is because of what's being dubbed the Sam Kerr clause, which is basically that if you're white, you will not be afforded the same protections as other people who commit crimes. It means your justice will basically be not as fair as anyone else. It is state-mandated racial discrimination. It's not even just two-tiered justice in Australia, it's multi-tiered. And if you're white, male, and a Christian, you're at the bottom of the barrel. And by the way, so everyone knows, anti-white racism is still racism. And guess who's pushing this? Labor and the Greens, the same virtue-signalling parasites that champion diversity and inclusion while cheering on state-approved hatred against white people. So Australia, we need to wake up before white Australians are second-class citizens.
They asked me what I do, and I said, I'm going to bomb the shit out of them.
Listen, you mother, we're going to tax you 25%.
Not you. Not you. Your organization's terrible.
We finally beat medical. Well, he actually did beat medical. He beat it to death.
Everything woke turns to shit, okay?
We build a road. They blow up the road. They blow up the school. We build another school. We build another road. They blow them up. We build again. In the meantime, we can't get a school built in Brooklyn. Yeah, the emergency are going to bring the country together. I'm going to bring it together. Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's the answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to, you're a nasty person.
I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk about democracy. I'm a threat to democracy. They're
could set the way for the whole planet by committing to stopping oil.
The problem I have is this idea that the one group of people have decided that they are the ones to save the world. How dare you question us because we know what's right. I'm going to glue my hand to some tarmac and then I'm going to be a martyr and I'm going to be a good person while the rest of us can't get on with our day. Kids, I've got a job, I've got an elderly mother. We have to get on with our lives. Most people feel they're doing their bit. They are doing the recycling. They're trying. I can't afford an electric car. I can't afford a heat pump. Most people can't afford that. The people that the campaigners should be focusing on is the government, not on ordinary people. But it's about ego. There's no doubt that we've had a winter without any protests, but as soon as the sun comes out, oh, it's eco-festival time. And it is a festival. It's a big jamboree. It's let's get on social media. Let's sit down with a placard. Let's advertise to my friends what a great person I am. While the rest, ordinary people who have to go to work can't.
Are you kidding me? So you're telling me that this man that raped a 13-year-old girl didn't know that rape was illegal in the UK? So hold on. So you're basically telling us that rape in your own country is legal. You can sleep with an underage girl, 12, 13, nobody cares. Well, guess what? In the UK, men like you are not welcome. And what pisses me off the most is that the judge let him go free, no jail time, just because he said, well, I didn't know that rape is illegal in the UK. The fuck? What a bullshit excuse. And this judge should be ashamed of himself. Someone sacked this guy. He doesn't even know his job. How can you let...
Would you admit that this country would be nothing without our rich history of immigration?
Well, I tell you what. And this is what's gone wrong. Because you talk about immigration, and it ran from after the war up until the millennium, a net 30 to 40,000 a year. And yes, it worked. In fact, we had the most successful immigration policies of any country in the whole of Europe, no question. Now, it is so totally out of control. Just think about this. 2.5 million people have come in the last 2 years. You wonder why you can't get a house. You wonder why your rents have gone up 25% in 4 years. You wonder why our infrastructure is struggling. You wonder why we have to build a new house every 2 minutes just to cope with the numbers. And that's the issue. It's now running at numbers that are literally unimaginable and are diminishing the quality of life of everybody in this country. And frankly, this should be the biggest issue of this election.
If you really went to the moon and spent $200 billion, you would never destroy the technology. But one of the clips we have is them saying that they intentionally destroyed all of the equipment to go to the moon. All the diagrams, all the hardware, all the schematics, all the original telemetry of where the rocket was at the time, and all the original videotapes. Ron Howard's grandfather warned him the moon landings were fake. He didn't listen. He wanted to make an IMAX movie. He went to NASA, said, give me all the originals so I can transfer it to HD, and project it at 120 feet wide. They said, give us a couple of days. And in those days, they lost every single original videotape from every single Apollo mission. Now, if you really went to the moon and spent $200 billion, the last thing you would do is destroy that technology. But if you perpetrated a fraud, that's exactly what you would do.
There's a theory that in Home Alone, Kevin, he was actually left at home on purpose. Theory goes that his father, he owned that huge house and so much people in there. There is a theory that he wasn't actually able to afford that place and all the excursions and things they do, right? And Kevin, being the one child that the whole family, they just thought he was a runt, and then they didn't really like him, right? Yo, only the mom was the only one that really cared about Kevin. The father didn't really care about Kevin that much, if you really take it in. The mom was the one that's like, Kevin, where's Kevin? Remember? Now, the theory goes that the father, he hired the burglars to go and do a robbery to claim on the insurance. Also, to claim insurance on Kevin's death.
Things humans weren't meant to see. A man traveled to Egypt and placed a remote control car inside one of the pyramids. The original poster claimed to have found something the government would want to keep a secret. He also wanted to be paid $5 million for the rest of the footage to be revealed, but it never did. As it gets deeper, it shows what appears to be a tall figure inside the chambers.
What did Will Smith really mean to tell us?
Y'all, we out here on vacation in the Bahamas, another beautiful day. Check it out, check it out. Ooh. I want to talk to y'all for a minute about the power of perceptions. You see, there's a lot that goes into being a hot social media content provider. For instance, y'all think I got time to go on vacation? No. I got social to do. Come on, man, this is blue screen. In fact, I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. I haven't looked like this good in years. I've been totally computer generated since like the 90s. You know what? This ain't even real blue screen. It's 2019, y'all. Nothing's real.
July 8, 1979, all the fathers of Nobel Prize winners were rounded of semen samples in little plastic jars, which are now stored below Rockefeller Center underneath the ice skating rink. Wouldn't want to be there for the thaw. Ugh. I mean, it's disgusting. You know what they put in the water, don't you? Fluoride. Yeah, fluoride. On the pretext that it strengthens your teeth. That's ridiculous. You know what this stuff does to you? It actually weakens your will. Takes away the capacity for free and creative thought and makes you a slave to the state. So you ever wonder about all these militia groups, survivalist type kooks from the right-wing side? They say that they're defending the country from the UN troops. These guys are yelling so loud, my theory is, and this is a conspiracy, pal, that they are the UN troops and that they're in place. The infrastructure's ready, it's just a fait accompli. When the time comes, they'll just take over and we'll all be toast. Oswald, yeah, Oswald, that's what I said, Oswald. He said, I'm just a patsy, and that means that he didn't do it, right? So you're the one. Like, guy looks at me and he says to me, you think you're living in a free country? You think this is a democracy? Of course it's not. Websites, newsletters, self-published manifestos, they think we're kooks. I mean, George Bush knew what he was saying when he said New World Order. Remember those three little words, New World Order? Well, he was a 33rd degree Mason, you know, and as ex-director of the CIA. He knew that saying that would send conspiratologists everywhere spinning their wheels, and they destroy their own credibility. Hey, don't get me wrong, sister. I'm sure your heart's in the right place, okay? But, you know, somebody's got to lift the scab, the festering scab that is the Vatican.
The government are lying to us all. This is seriously crazy, and if you get scared easily, off you go. But let's do it. So we all know deep down that the government that we see probably aren't the biggest out there. You know, there's someone higher controlling things. We're just not sure who or what. So to start with, take a look at this. This is the Plato's Cave analogy. It's basically symbolic of our life and system. So this right here shows the media, and this right here is us. All of this behind we don't see. This right here is just the media projecting what they want us to see, but we don't see anything else. But behind the media is the government, and the government who know more truth than we're being told, and right up above them is the people above them. So yeah, we're just being shown what they want us to see when there's a lot more going on. Get it? So we all know about the Illuminati, and that's supposedly the higher government. And I mean, why the hell else would you have this on a dollar bill? Bit random. And like all of these random structures that have been built over time, like, it's crazy. Now this place is Bohemian Grove, where the top secret world leaders go every year for a secret meeting. No one knows anything or any clue about what happens. It happens every year, and people believe it could be something to do with the Illuminati.
Peter, this is the site of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Oh, so Saddam Hussein did this? No. The Iraqi army? No. Some guys from Iraq? No. That one lady who visited Iraq that one time? No, Peter, Iraq had nothing to do with this. It was a bunch of Saudi Arabians, Lebanese, and Egyptians financed by a Saudi Arabian guy living in Afghanistan and sheltered by Pakistanis. So you're saying we need to invade Iran?